J Batteries Brad Jones racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
A lot of history hidden in this place. Bit of elbow grease, splash of racing. Eleanor, and 100 years later, you've got this. A place driven by passion. Some people call us car nuts, rev heads. Reckon we've got 10W30 running through our veins. But the truth is, everyone at Repco has an unexplainable bond with motoring. The journey's been a ride. From navigating open roads to wrangling uncharted tracks. For 100 years, we've been driven by passion. What happens in the future? Well, you'll have to wait and see.
Unreal value just got better at Pizza Hut. Pick up our new range from just $3. Enjoy delicious new sides like flame-grilled meatballs. Hey, Dougie, mate, this is a pickup ad.
From $3. That's unreal.
Good times, Pizza Hut.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Cash Converters.
So cool to be back again in 2022. Welcome to the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. Chad Nailon, joined by Garth Tander. SwiftX qualifying is where we're going to start the night. First round of 6. Got some cool Aussie tracks lined up for this one, Garth. We're on the live stream right now getting set for SwiftX qualifying.
It's great to be back at the E-Series, Chad, and into qualifying straight up. It's fantastic. And I like what you said, more Aussie tracks. So a couple of old favourites have joined the show.
Yeah, the theme has been, let's see what supercars is like when we put them on big international Grand Prix circuits and race at Formula One dream tracks. We've had that, we've done that. But now, with iRacing throwing more and more Aussie tracks like this beautiful old school racetrack, Winton Motor Raceway, onto iRacing, it means that we can now enjoy it virtually for the first time in the series. We've got the pro drivers. Now remember, they're not the pros that we see in the Repco Supercars Championship, they're the pro gamers. And they're up right now for their first run in SwiftX qualifying, and they're all going to be chasing the man in the Optus colours. It's not Chaz Mostert, but it is the defending series champ of Dane Warren. And Walkinshaw Andretti United, a team that you know an awful lot about and have driven for many, many years. They have been the team to beat in iRacing and in the Supercars E-Series for the last few years.
Certainly have, Chad. Well, I drove for them IRL, which is in real life.
In the
Never
Indy
drove
Racing
for
League.
them virtually, so certainly a different world. But they've certainly been the form in the E-Series. And Dane Warren last year, he was the man, wasn't he? Particularly in qualifying. His qualifying performance, 5 out of 6 poles in last year's championship. So he'll be one to keep an eye on in qualifying right now. And it is a bit like his real life or virtual life interpreting real life, because Chad's pretty quick around Winton as well. So it'll be interesting to see what Dane Warren can do.
And just like real life, short, sharp qualifying session. So it's just like an Armor All qualifying session on a Sunday morning at a super sprint round. You got 10 minutes to get the job done.
Yeah, and it's just like real life where you have to maximise getting the most out of the tyre straight away. So these tyre will work for the first push lap, potentially the second push lap, but then it'll start to fall away. So you need to make sure that you phase the tyre, just like real life, get the tyre up to temperature for the start of the lap, and that it doesn't go away in the later part of the lap. So on board here now with Warren as we exit turn 4. Grabs 4th gear for the run to the sweeper. Double apex sweeper now. And isn't it so good that the scanning that that they do for this software is so good that it's like literally like watching it in on board from the real thing, isn't it? Like the ability to take in all the scenery, all the little bumps, even the profile of the curbs, just like what you'd expect when you're driving at Winton, 200 kilometres north of Melbourne.
A lot of people excited to see iRacing take on Sandown. We've got our iRacing expert, Jonathan Simon, back again watching the action. He's going to be our pit reporter, our virtual pit reporter for season 2022. Jonathan, the key to getting a good qualifying lap around Winton, how are they going to go about it in this very short session?
Well, welcome back, Chad. Thank you for having me back. Well, it's all about traffic, isn't it, around Winton? It's so difficult to overtake here during the race. Imagine qualifying. Already we see the first times come in. A low 1:18 for Jordan Caruso. Dane Warren's blipped that into the 17s already. Corey Shepherd was first to set a lap time. Do you remember last year? He actually was on the front row in the first round, the young man. Youngest driver in the E-Series this year as well.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. That was his best qualifying performance of the year. And we've got a couple drivers to watch out for, Garth, in this field, actually more than a couple, that do a lot of real racing. And we've seen a few of these guys on the Supercars calendar so far this year. And Josh Anderson is one of them. Now, he drives a Cool Drive Aussie racing car. And now he's driving the Cool Drive Supercar in Tim Slade's colours, which is pretty cool.
Next step would be to drive the Cool Drive Supercar in real life. So certainly making his way through the Cool Drive ranks, if you like. So it's a great opportunity, Chad, that drivers here in this Pro Series that do some external different racing can now represent brands that we are so used to seeing in the Supercars Championship. And it can open some doors, certainly can open some doors, create some relationships that may see some of these drivers get like a rookie test in a supercar one day, maybe towards the end of this year even.
I feel like I spent almost all 6 rounds last year pestering Ryan Walkinshaw into giving Dane Warren a drive in a Super 2 car or a Super 3 car, something at one of these rookie test days. And hopefully we'll get a chance to chat to Dane a little bit later tonight in one of our short live chats. We'll ask him if there's been any progress there in convincing Ryan Walkinshaw
You'll have to spend the rest of this year's championship working on Ryan Walkinshaw again.
Ryan Walkinshaw takes his e-gaming environment very seriously, and that's why they've been the best team for quite a few years. Brad Jones Racing back with a big operation again this year at their local track, virtually for the first time, which is cool. track that they've had big success at in the past. So 3 cars racing in both the Pro and All-Star ranks. So they've got more cars than anyone in this fight tonight, including Madison Down, who's in the Cup Cadet car. Now, there has been some rule changes, Garth, in the regs about slowing down on track in the qualifying sessions, because we did see some fairly farcical scenes last year with drivers looking for a tow.
Yeah, that's right. So now the drivers are not able to go any slower than 60 km/h on circuit. Quite similar to some of the rules that we have in the Supercars Championship. So if they are found to be too slow at that 60 km/h, then they will actually get a penalty.
All right, Jonathan, what's happening? 4 minutes 20 to go.
Well, you were talking about Madison Down, who is currently at turn 3 at the moment. Remember, all the Brad Jones Racing drivers, they get a test here at the end of the season as a gift for their E-Series sort of efforts and everything like that. So Madison Down actually tested here in the Super 3, and I remember Tony Woodward, the engineer, said if he had a budget, he could win the Super 3 Series.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it? And we've actually got Tony engineering Jake Burton's car, the Dunlop colours, tonight. He's also going to be engineering, or spotting as it's called in iRacing. He's going to be the spotter for Andre Heimgartner as well. So real-world opportunities coming from the Cash Converter Supercars E-Series and across the board. So really cool to see Brad Jones take this championship so seriously. He's been in now for 4 seasons, and he's had Jake Burton there in the Dunlop colours that whole time. So really cool to see those young guys get a chance to drive a supercar for real.
Yep, that's a great initiative for Brad Jones Racing to give those guys and girls a test in real life here at Winton. Following Madison Down as it finishes this lap. Let's just see what this lap does. Does it improve the lap time? Good final sector, but doesn't improve his lap time. So stays 5th place at the moment. Just over 0.2 of a second off Dane Warren in pole position. Warren still holds the pole position from that lap that we saw him set earlier. 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Dane Warren leads from Jordan Caruso, Jared Filsell 3rd, Corey Shepherd 4th, Madison Down, as we documented, 5th. Cooper Webster, racer in the Super 5000 Championship. Open wheelers, big V8 open wheelers, but a gun iRacing competitor as well. So keep an eye out for him. He'll be fast in this year's championship.
Yeah, guy with a lot of real racing experience. Can anyone beat this guy to a SwiftX Pole Award? He put together quite a bit of Bitcoin last year, and there's a bit more up for grabs. $200 worth of Bitcoin every night for picking up a SwiftX Pole Award as he sets off on another lap. Can he go quicker than his 1:17.9? He's got just a 1/10 of a second clear of Jordan Caruso, and Jared Filsell, haven't talked about him yet. He's jumped up inside the top 5 as well, and he's running in the Boost Mobile colours. Erebus will be a team to be reckoned with this year. They do look very, very fast, particularly when we get to the Enduros. I think they're going to be probably the team to watch. Here is Jared right now.
Yeah, it's both he and Brody Kostecki, a pair of guns, and
yep,
when those two team up for the endurance races, one race at Sandown, one race at Bathurst, they'll be a very, very hot combination. That's for sure.
Much like it does in the proper Enduros, where the co-drivers have such an important role. Our All-Stars, our Supercars drivers, are probably going to be the deciding factor when we get through to the endurance season coming up a bit later in this championship.
Well, just like real life, Chad, the co-drivers are the ones that make the show. They're the ones that make it happen. That's for
the real
sure.
stars.
They're the real stars of the show.
I think we need to change the name of co-drivers to All-Stars.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
it's got a good ring to it.
Yeah.
How cool's the Repco 100 livery for Corey Shepherd? Jonathan was talking about how quick he was last year, and cool to see this 3-car operation also include Jackson Suzlin Harlow. I wonder if he's got the trophy cabinet behind him tonight like he had all through last year. It seemed to be a lot of go-kart trophies there, so a lot of karters as well. I know them very close to your heart, of course, karting, Garth.
Yeah, it certainly is. Jackson, one of the gun karters at the top level of Australian karting, runs in the Australian Kart Championship. Actually has a connection to Brad Jones Racing, the team that he drives for here in the I-Series, that he works for Tom Williamson, who does a lot of work with the young drivers and Macaulay Jones at Brad Jones Racing. So a lot of connections to the Albury-based team, Brad Jones Racing here in the Pro Series.
Jared Filsell doesn't look overly happy that last time through. He sits 3rd. He's on for a second row start, and he won't have time for another lap. So that is...
So that lap actually put him to second. So
Oh, it's updated. There you go, front row.
Geez, tough man to please. When you do a lap that puts you on the front row and you look pretty frustrated. So this is it now. It's cards cross the line. That's what will set the grid. So Dane Warren currently fastest. Still hasn't gone faster than that 17.9 that we saw early. Phil Sell with an 18 dead. Currently second.
It's Luke Rosello, one of 4 new drivers to the series. He's got the Shannon's Insurance colours tonight. A couple of very similar looking cars on the grid to last year. It's the checkers wave. Has anyone got an answer for Dane Warren? Looking very good at the moment with that only time into the 1 minute 17s. And Phil Sell on our instant cash replay. Liking that one. All the boys love the Discord open, having a chat to each other. And yeah, he's actually got Brody Kostecki. I think that's who we could just hear in the background there spotting for him tonight. He got close. He got within 0.07 of a second, but it wasn't close enough. And Dane Warren, after 5 out of 6 poles last year, for SwiftX, he takes the very first one of the year. He puts $200 worth of Bitcoin in the kitty. Dane Warren, Phil Sell, Caruso, Gilliam, and Corey Shepherd. Again, Corey Shepherd starting the season strong in SwiftX qualifying. And this big field of 19 cars, 0.6 of a second covering the field. Oh my gosh, this is going to be really close.
So you're saying it's going to be tight this year, Chad?
Get the feeling it's going to be hard work. How about Emily Jones? 0.6 off pole, all right. Oh, I'm 19th. That is
19.
hard work. Yeah. SwiftX Pole Award time, and this is something that we're probably going to say quite regularly in 2022. Dane Warren, Walkinshaw and Grid United, and in the Mobile One Optus Racing colours, at a track where they've had plenty of success before, and back to the top, just like he was last year. Congratulations to Dane Warren. He will start the very first race of 6 for the championship. Best possible position, SwiftX Pole Award, going the way of Dane Warren. Well, we need a quick break, and the All-Stars, they're going to be hitting the track for SwiftX qualifying, so stick with us.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Bosch Professional Tools, backed by a 6-year guarantee.
Unreal value just got better at Pizza Hut. Pick up our new range from just $3. Enjoy delicious new sides like flame-grilled meatballs. Hey, Dougie, mate, this is a pickup ad.
From $3. That's unreal.
Andre Heimgartner on screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Ah, looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Bosch Professional Tools, backed by a 6-year guarantee.
Time to keep the action coming from the nation's virtual action track. It is Winton Motor Raceway, a cool place to go and visit any time of the year. And we love watching supercars action around this place. Now it's time for the All-Stars, and they're all going to be chasing Brody Kostecki as we get back for a big year of the E-Series. And we've got all your favourites here tonight. Tom Randall, Jack LeBrock, and a big field of drivers ready to come, 19 in total. All right, so we're out on track right now. And big field of cars, including Matt McLean in the Shaw Racing car. Cool to have him back. We missed him at Townsville in the Dunlop Series. Brody Kostecki will be, without question, the man to beat in season 2022. But it's a different looking All-Stars field this year. We've got some familiar names from the supercars world. Andre Heimgartner is out there. Jack LeBrock. Tom Randall, of course. Macaulay Jones and Brody Kostecki, but we've got plenty of drivers coming up through the ranks. Some Super 2 stars, Jaden Ojeda, Thomas Maxwell, James Golding, who is now back full-time, Matt McLean, Cameron Crick with the Pizza Hut colours on. Justin Rougier used to drive with Eggleston Motorsport. Zach Best, a regular with Tickford and a race winner in the Dunlop Series. And then beyond that, we've got some drivers who are even further down the ranks from Super 3, which is cool to see Brad Vaughan getting a drive with the Cool Drive colours. And he's done a fabulous job so far this year in the Dunlop Series. Aaron Borg out there in the Middies Data Electrical car, which is Bryce Forward's colours. He'll be driving with Brad Jones Racing this year as we set off on the first of the flying laps. And Brody Kostecki for Boost Mobile Racing up on the curbs and sideways through turn 2. He's definitely the guy to beat. Quite clever. He's got his own little sponsors board ticking over on the bottom right-hand side. We've had innovation from the driver's end of things, which is pretty cool. He's working his way up towards the second sector right now. Around turns 6, 7. He's sideways through here as well. And even tipping his way through the corners. Got the manager out the back working the social media accounts tonight. Nathan Kaiser helping out. He also keeps an eye on Kai Allen. Not used to not having Kai Allen on track. We've got Brad Vaughan out there. And it's not been the cleanest lap from Brody Kostecki. And I wonder if he's going to be able to piece it together or if he's going to be vulnerable and what the lap time's going to be. We saw a 1:17.9 for pole earlier tonight. And can anyone go and get that lap time from here? The first flyers through. Aaron Borg goes 1:19.5 seconds. Looking forward to seeing how they compare lap time-wise. Borg goes to the top. Kostecki's ugly lap time was good enough for a 1:19.6. Meanwhile, for Matt McLean on the Cash Converters replay. Oh, he's got sideways. He's got the curbs at the exit of 2. And he's going to get the old pit wall and the entrance of the circuit. So that was a big whack. The bonnet's off it. First crash of the night. And that was an ugly one for Matt McLean.
It's pretty hard coming off turn 2. And that was all that it took. We saw Brody Kostecki have a massive moment there on his push lap. And that sent Matt McLean into the wall. So unlucky for Matt McLean. He would have escaped out of that one pretty quickly, spent a bit of time in pit lane, and certainly hope that he can get a lap in towards the end of this one.
We've got virtual Dr. Carl on the scene for every one of our on-track incidents in the All-Star E-Series. I don't know how true it is, but rumour is that Dale Jr. and the creators of iRacing are hidden away in every single track on iRacing, somewhere around there, like
in the
Where's
crowd
Wally?
Somewhere, in the background.
So I want to see if I can find virtual Dale Jr. in the...
Sounds like something he would do.
In the crowd at Winton. Ojeda ran a wildcard appearance at this very track did a really good job actually driving for Walkinshaw Trade United in both of his wildcard appearances this year. He goes over the curb cam and gives us a lap time. Where does he sit right now? He's currently 8th. Can he jump up the order on this lap time? No improvement yet from Jaden Ojeda. Of course, the cash converters cars are back, and this is Justin Rugia, a guy who has been very successful in multiple facets of motor racing. Had 1 year where he put it all on the line in the Dunlop Series, which is pretty cool to see with Eggleston.
Yep. Been also a gun iRacing competitor as well, so has done quite a bit of iRacing. So he currently sits 3rd. Borg, his lap time remains fastest with a 19.5. Brody Kostecki with a 19.6. Rougier with a 19.6 as well, so pretty competitive at the top.
Corley Jones, Automotive Superstore colours. Cool to see Macca out there tonight. The headset on in the game. And you always see Bradley just popping up occasionally on his onboard shots. We've seen that a couple of times last year as he works his way through a circuit where he would have done thousands of laps. Certainly
Home circuit for anyone with the surname Jones that's involved with supercars. They've done a huge amount of running at the Benalla venue.
Ooh, speaking of Brad Jones Racing, Andre Heimgartner's just popped up towards the top with a 1:19.4 and instantly escaped his way back to the pit, so he'll have time for one more run. Not a bad lap time. Well, 1:18.5 was good enough for last in the pros.
Yeah, I was just thinking, so it was the 17.9 that took pole in the pros and 0.6 of a second covered the entire field. So Andre Heimgartner can hustle a real-life supercar around Winton. Still got a bit of time to find when it comes to the iRacing version compared to our iRacing pros, that's for sure. It just shows the different level of discipline, the different level of skill required between real-life supercar drivers and those that can do it beautifully well in iRacing.
Jonathan, what are you seeing?
So Brady Kostecki has pulled off the racetrack. He's going to repeat his run and go for one last lap here at the end of qualifying. We know he's the favourite, Chad, but at the moment he's got a lot of traffic around him. He can squeeze 2 laps in, but as Garth said earlier, these tyres only really last well for 1 hot lap, so this could be Kostecki's final run. And is he going to start no greater than the 2nd row, which he currently sits in?
Yeah, I wonder. He's got a bit of traffic here to work through on his out lap as well, so this could be quite interesting for Brody Kostecki. Where is he going to wash up? Wouldn't mind seeing him come off the 2nd row tonight. But with one more lap time left in him tonight, he might just have it to knock Andre Heimgartner off the top. SwiftX qualifying, take you in car. Very, very familiar sound. Rougia's hopped onto the front row, so Heimgartner, Rougia now the front row. Aaron Borg doing a nice job sitting inside the top few spots. So BJR with 2 cars inside the front 2 rows. And James Golding, who has raced in the pro ranks before, has parked himself inside the top 3 rows as well. That is a face of concentration from Brody Kostecki.
So Kostecki comes to the line to start this push lap. Jonathan mentioned this is his last chance, so Kostecki, red hot favourite to be a front runner in this one. Currently finds himself though on the outside of the 2nd row. He certainly navigated turn 2 a lot more smoothly on this lap than we saw earlier, where he bounced it off the curb massively. So take front splitter cam as he makes his way through turn 4, the run up to turn 5, the double apex sweeper. Be very patient here when you pick the throttle back up, then fire it over the curb at 6, get it stopped for 7. Back to 2nd gear late. Oh, he almost went down. He went down too many gears there. Maybe he did that to help rotate the car at turn 7. So he had the short shift to 2nd. Kostecki on this lap, fastest first sector out of everyone. So
it looks smoother as well this lap. That
it
first
does look
push
a lot
lap was
smoother. One thing you do notice when we take the shots of the drivers in their sims, how smooth they are with all the inputs, how smooth they are with the steering. Makes a massive difference. I mean, it looks like Brody Kostecki's on his way down the road to get some milk. He's trying to knock Andre Heimgartner off pole. Last 2 corners. Need good drive traction off the final corner. Hope that you've got enough tyre left under the car for the run to the line. Keep it straight. Don't use more road than you need to.
Literally biting his nails and gets the job done anyway. Throws the car off down to turn 1, and that is a fair margin. He's looking very, very comfortable.
Yep. just over 2/10. Brody Kostecki over Andre Heimgartner. Pick up Justin Rougier now on his last lap. This is turn 10. Check the splits, and it's a very good middle sector. So Brody Kostecki, he's set his time. He's effectively in pit lane waiting for the rest of this one to play out. Justin Rougier currently third. What's he got?
The traction down through those Dunlop tyres onto the front straight. Can he get back to the front row? Can he knock Heimgartner away? Yes, just puts him back to the second row by about 200ths of a second. That is really tight, but it's 2/10 of a second to Brody Kostecki. And that was a lovely lap from Brody. Whoops.
This is the expression session part of the session, Chad. They've all done their lap time and they're escaping out of the game.
That was Clay Richards finding the...
Gets a little loose at the end.
Could have taken the Scott McLaughlin shortcut. From
straight from turn 5 to turn 10. Yeah, that's been done before.
Tommy Randall. That car looks very familiar because it's his real-world colours.
Randall didn't trouble the apex at turn 11. And gets all Shane Van Gisbergen off the final corner for the run to the line. I don't think this one's going to improve.
Oh, and take a bit of the wall with him down there at turn 1. He'll stay down there in 14th position. Brad Vaughan, he's done a nice job here. He sits 5th on the order. I think he's turned 18 in the last couple of weeks. And he's the only driver to actually use that pit lane entrance all session.
You can tell he's a young guy. He's following the rules.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's having a little bit of a practice for the race.
That's not a bad idea. It's a smart play.
They do need to actually use the pit lane during the racing. And there is your man to beat again. He picked up a swag of poles last year, 4 in total. And he goes and chucks another one on the board. Now, his average qualifying performance last year was 1.5. Not bad at all. He averages a front row start every time he rolls on out to the racetrack. He's done that again tonight. Well done, Brody Kostecki, in this big field of cars ready to go tonight at Winton. He's picked up his 5th SwiftX Pole Award and his first of the season, of course, being round number 1 tonight. He's done it comfortably. Had to get the job done right at the very end, and did a nice job. The first lap was a little bit crooked and out towards the ragged edge, but this one a lot smoother. Just pulled it back a little bit. And you get the feeling that he is going to be the man to beat again in the course of the year. So well done to Brody Kostecki, and it sets up the night perfectly. Garth, very much looking forward to the action that's still to come, and we're not too far away from going live for real. This is the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is back, but this time with an Aussie twist. Brenda with a huge shunt There's an all-Aussie feel to it this year, with Sandown and Winton joining the calendar. Can anyone beat Dane Warren in the Pro Series? Who can catch him in his sim? Dane Warren weaving his way to victory in the pros. Will Brodie Kostecki make it a Boost Mobile double in the All-Stars? To the checkered flag, and it's going to be Brodie Kostecki with big money at stake. This is no game for these gamers. Let's go sim racing for 2022. This is round one of the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. It was the series that gave us so much to look forward to back in COVID times, but it's still going strong. In 2022, it's the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. Chad Nailon and Garth Tander for this year's action. We've got the pros, we've got the All-Stars together. It's a really famous, now functioning, working way of running the E-Series together, Garth. Really looking forward to what 2022's got coming up.
It's great to be racing again, Chad, and on iRacing, and great to have some new Aussie circuits join the calendar. We've been crying out for more Australian race circuits on the iRacing schedule, and it's great to have two old favourites join the show.
So once upon a time, you had Phillip Island, Bathurst, and Oran Park, and that was all you had. But now, thankfully, we've been adding Sandown and also Winton Motor Raceway to iRacing, which is really cool, which gives us, at this stage, an all-Aussie calendar for season 2022. So once upon a time, it was all about racing at Spa and Monza and all these places. But check out, how cool is this? Winton Motor Raceway tonight for round one. Sandown and Bathurst are Enduros, so co-driver races, something that you know all too well. And then also we've got Phillip Island and Oran Park for that grand final. But I'm looking forward to round three there, Garth. The fans' choice. What do you want to see there, mate?
I feel like we need an oval in our world, Chad. So I think that's a great opportunity, round three. Talladega might be an option. Daytona's there, or maybe a small oval. So there's plenty of options to choose from. We want to hear from you where we want to go racing for round three.
Throw some choices at you online and hear what the fans have to say about that. So a really cool calendar. Looking forward to the Enduros that are going to be coming up. But we've do two races tonight. We've got Winton for the pros, which, remember, they're not actually the pro drivers. They're the gamers. And then we've got the All-Stars as well. So let's just start with taking us for a ride around this brand new circuit to iRacing. Not brand new for Supercars fans. We've had it for a very long time. It's our Cash Converters course preview. And Garth, who's done plenty of laps for real around here, is going to talk us through it.
The run down to turn one, you can just see even over the hump in the braking area for turn one. You need to use the curbs at 1 and 2 to rotate the car. And just look at how well this circuit's been scanned into iRacing. You see turn 3, and you'll see the new curb on the exit of 3 for the run down to 4. It's important to use all that apex curb to flow the car out nicely on the exit of 4. Fourth gear and the rev limiter into the high-speed sweeper. Double apex here. Need a lot of patience in the mid part of the corner. And then fly the car nicely over the curbs at 6, but then get it stopped into turn 7. Real tricky braking area. Second gear, very slow series of hairpins into turn 8. Car wants to snap out in the rear on the change of direction. Then turn 9, slowest corner on the circuit. So drive traction off here is critical as you make your way up through the gearbox again. Don't use too much of that curb on the exit before the braking zone into turn 10. One of the few tight left-handed corners at Winton. And then the run down to turn 11. This is one of the key passing opportunities on the brakes down into turn 11. Back to second gear. Make sure you get it into the apex there. It's a tricky one on the brakes. And then the final corner, don't make a mistake here. Square up the exit, get the drive traction down for the run to the line. And that's a flying lap of 3 Ks of Winton Motor Raceway.
Nicely done in the Cash Converters car as well, which we'll have Justin Ruggier driving tonight in the All-Stars. We've seen plenty of races at Winton before with the Repco Supercars Championship. How do we think it's going to go virtually tonight? The pros and then the All-Stars.
Well, Winton's been famous for being very difficult to overtake, and I don't see that being any different tonight. Qualifying's critical, need to be near the front. There is a bit of opportunity for strategy in these races as well, though, so let's see what they can do to make their way go forward if they feel they haven't qualified in the position they need to be. So, passing, it's going to be difficult.
All right, well, the man who was sitting right next to me last year for the 21 Supercars E-Series is going to be joining us virtually as our pit reporter. Jonathan Simon, my iRacing colleague, it's good to see you back once again, mate.
Thanks for having me, Chad. 4th year at the E-Series on iRacing. We've done every single one of them. Oh, it's good to be back. I love this series.
Can you talk us through what we've got coming up tonight for our Shannon's Race Facts? Take us around what we need to get our heads in the game for Winton tonight.
Yep, so Winton is race 1 of a 6-round championship, as we spoke about. 17 laps of action coming up, 24 minutes if we go time certain. Remember that pit transit time, that's very important, and compare that with your favourite driver this evening and their rivals. Open setup series for the first time since 2019 for the pros, first time ever for...
Oh, we've lost Jonathan, I think, for the moment. I'll talk us through the track map. We just saw a virtual lap of it, turns 1 and 2. We know how difficult that's been. We have seen some action there if you're checking out the SwiftX qualifying night. And it's a tight, tricky circuit. Passing opportunities tonight, Garth. We know the big braking zones are where it's going to happen. 150 points, so it's just like a 2-race format here tonight. 150 points for a race win. Grids are set off the qualifying time. There is a compulsory pit stop. And importantly, Garth, there will be a BP Ultimate safety car in the All-Stars race, which will spice things up.
Yep, certainly will spice it up. So that will come at a particular time. No safety car predicted in the Pros Series race, but if we do need one, the BP Ultimate safety car will roll if we require it.
All right, we'll work at getting virtual Jonathan back on the line, whose internet's just blown up, sadly. Hopefully that doesn't happen to any of the drivers tonight, because that would be a DNF. We need a quick break here. The Cash Converter Supercars E-Series and the Pros are going to hit Winton on the other side of this.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Cash Converters.
Andre Heimgartner on screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Ah, looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
Unreal value just got better at Pizza Hut. Pick up our new range from just $3. Enjoy delicious new sides like flame-grilled meatballs. Hey, Dougie, mate, this is a pickup ad.
From $3. That's unreal.
Good times, Pizza Hut.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Cash Converters.
You know, for everything we've achieved as a sport, the big events, the big crowds, Bathurst, street races, the glitz and the glamour, I actually love the fact that we still choose to come here. To Winton, to the bush, regional Australia. And we've been doing that for near 40 years. Albury up the road that way, Seymour, Shepparton, Ballarat, Benalla, Wangaratta, Glenrowan just up the road. Yep, this is Ned Kelly country. And against that backdrop, we continue to be red versus blue in the bush.
It's a popular spot that will move.
This weekend, 27-ton-and-a-half race cars. 17,550 horsepower of glorious, screaming V8s. On 3 kilometres of gnarly twists and turns that Dick Johnson once said,
Winton, it's like running a marathon round your clothesline.
all of this set in a classic Aussie region. The landscape, the farming, the wineries. I love the eucalypt and the mallee. It's so Australian. And most of all, the people who remind me of what I truly love about this great country. And as a sport, it makes me proud because it's who we are. You know, I was born just up the road, born into a Ford family, and that's been my stripe. And I love that tribalism. It's kind of who we are, it's how it works, right? My dad brought me right here, Winton, when I was just a tacker. It was my first ever motorsport experience. I never got over it.
Yep, you get the feeling Mark Larkham loves Winton, and so do the Supercars fans. And we love that we've got it virtually now in iRacing to enjoy at the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. Garth, you've raced at Winton a lot, you've won at Winton a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it translates tonight into the E-Series.
It's great to have it on the iRacing platform, isn't it, Chad? Because just seeing from some of the onboard shots, it's so well scanned in. It's like watching real onboard cameras. So the way that they've taken the curbs, the bumps, all of it, just a little detailing. It's fantastic. What a great job they do with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's check out how they're going to be starting very soon. But it's the SwiftX Pole Award that we're going to touch on first. And yep, you guessed it. Last year's defending champion, Dane Warren. He's just so good at getting the job done. And he's gone and picked off another $200 worth of Bitcoin thanks to SwiftX. He got all but one pole award last year, and he started the year perfectly. And he'll be starting on the front row tonight. Can he get the job done over the course of 17 laps? He was very quick over one lap. He was the only driver into the 17s, a 1 minute 17.9. He's a very cool character, and he's got his sim set up and ready to go tonight. So let's check out on the Truck Assist grid how they're going to be starting as they line up alongside Dane Warren. And it is an all-star cast of Erebus versus Walkinshaw Andretti United with Jared Filsell. He'll be a championship contender starting on that front row tonight. Jordan Caruso, he's made the switch over to the Monster Energy colours. And Andrew Gilliam, who was an engineer in Super 3 just a week ago in Townsville. And Corey Shepherd, we saw him with some serious speed at round 1 last year. Cooper Webster has been at Team 18 now for 2 seasons. Madison Down and Jake Burton. Jake's going to be running in the Dunlop colours tonight in what is an all BJR number 4 row. Back to their other third car in Jackson, Suzlin Harlow. Griffin Gardner, one of the new drivers, one of 4 new drivers in the field tonight. Jake Maloney is going to be lining up out of 11th position. Wayne Burke in the Snowy River car tonight, and SwiftX colours coming the way of Job Stewart, who's made the move across from Erebus, but still an Erebus junior driver. Josh Anderson in the Cool Drive colours. Brenton Hobson returns to the series. We had him a few seasons ago. Loves his sprint car racing. Rick Kuznetsov in the Sure colours tonight is going to be lining up alongside Luke Rosella, so a couple of new drivers there. Back to Emily Jones. She was just 6/10 off the pole, Garth, but left her last. That is how competitive the field was tonight.
I was going to make that point, Chad. Just 0.6 of a second cover the entire field this evening, so it's very, very tight. Qualifying's behind us, racing about to begin.
So, for the first time, Winton joins the Supercars E-Series, but it's a familiar-looking name on the front of the grid. Can he win the race down to turn 1? Or will it be Jared Filsell who just sticks the nose of the Erebus car into the lead? They pile into a spot where we've seen plenty of chaos in the real world before. Do they all pop out the other side?
Plenty of jostling as they make their way down to turn 3, and there's been a bit go on at the front. Filsell's got the lead from Warren.
Caruso's gone. He takes Gilliam with him. Those two are on the second row together, so some push and shove, and only the fourth turn of the season.
And that's them to the back of the field, so that's going to make life difficult for those two. Can't afford to get caught up in early first lap incidents. And that's a graphic example. Turn 4 collecting both Caruso and Gilliam. That's our second row gone to the back of the grid.
A couple of cool camera angles, seeing for the first time as what another view of Winton could look like as they work their way through the tight and twisty section. Now back towards the new part of the circuit, added about 20 years ago. And this is exactly what Erebus were wanting, exactly what Jared Filsell needed tonight in the Boost Mobile colours. Can he stretch that lead out? And can he finally get that championship lead ahead of Dane Warren as they go working their way through the last sector? Cool to see supercars, but with very different colours to what we're used to seeing with some different teams out there. Side-by-side action further back in the pack. That was Luke Rosella in the Shannon's Insurance colours. First lap done. Erebus lead the way.
So Filsell over Warren, that lead just under 7/10 of a second. So Warren has started the fight back. Look at the damage down the side of Filsell. So clearly there was a bit going on between our front row, but through turn 1 and turn 2, Filsell, big damage down the left side of his Boost Commodore.
So frantic start to this one, Jonathan. I wonder when we're going to see them pit.
Yeah, definitely. We're expecting them to come in between laps 4 and 10. A lot of drama. Griffin Gardner, I think he's missing from the race because he didn't even take to the start. So a big technical issue for the rookie. Another rookie who started from the pits, Rick Kuznetsov. I think he missed the start. What a blunder that would be. And I can tell you that incident between Caruso and Gilliam is under investigation by the stewards.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan. So quite a bit to cover off at the beginning of the year. We have heard this happening on a few different occasions. Sometimes the drivers forget to load
to log in.
Yeah, or put the right livery on the car, all the little things that you wouldn't think you need to do. And I have seen quite a few drivers going without spotters tonight as well, and that can always lead to mistakes in the pit stops or not logging in at the right time, getting yourself into the session at the right time. So all those little things that if you get it wrong, bang, 0 points to start your championship.
Yep. So rookie errors can catch you out in real life just as it can here in iRacing. So Warren now closing in on Filsell. Cooper Webster, he's up 3 spots at the start of this one. He's done a nice job in the Team 18 Irwin Commodore.
Greg Burton working away his 4th year with Brad Jones Racing, his 4th year in the Dunlop colours, which is pretty cool. So he feels like part of the furniture there at Brad Jones Racing. And it did see him at Winton this year, just being a race fan, going about it. He's from Perth originally, made the move over to Melbourne. And he's working away on the Repco car of Corey Shepherd at the moment. Cash Converters replay of the start. And at that stage, the boost car already had the scrapes on the doors.
So that's happened down to turn 1, those scrapes. And then let's see if we catch a replay. Just what happens there. Oh, Gilliam and Caruso are already into each other on the entry to turn 4. So I would imagine that's one started at turn 3 and carried on to the outside of turn 4. Replay of they launch. Pretty even launch from the front row. Filsell, though, in the second phase gets a good run. Let's see if we can pick up just what happens here. Just contact there. So Warren over the curb. Just tagged Filsell. Actually, the damage on the car looks a little bit worse than the contact that it was. So iRacing taking a bit of liberty there. But no damage to the car otherwise.
Cooper Webster got a really good start, didn't he? You mentioned he was up 4 spots, but he very nearly got second position from Dane Warren at turn 3. Warren had to stick it around the outside to get back to second, and now he's right there with the Boost Mobile car. Now, is he thinking about getting it done on the racetrack, or will he be thinking potentially about trying to get this one done in the pits?
We heard from Jonathan Simon earlier. He was saying around lap 4 is when we expect to see some people coming to pit lane. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Got Matthew Kefford tonight as his spotter, calling the shots. And as these two fight for the lead, let's turn it up with the Shaw sounds of the game and put you right in the game with them. strategy, lap 4. And how will Phil Sell respond to this one? Now, pretty much randomized pit stop times. You can have a bit of good luck, you can have a bit of bad luck. I felt like this guy on screen had all the bad luck last year. Will we see better luck this year for Jared Phil Sell as the pit stops begin, Jonathan?
Very good decision by the Walkinshaw team to bring Dane Warren in. At this point of the race, the undercut is worth around half a second, and the gap between him and Phil Sell was only 2 or 3 tenths coming into the lane. So Phil Sell's got to defend this lap. It was a very, very slow pit stop for Dane Warren, though, 9.9 seconds. But we know Phil Sell's had a lot of bad luck over the years.
A lot of bad luck, but maybe the door is open. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Good to have a set of eyes on the pit stops with the action happening back on track. Does he pit this lap?
Well, this will tell us. So you've either got to pit right away this lap or then create a massive tyre delta. Go the other way. Go long in the first stint and shorten up your last stint, which means you'll have to pass it Dane Warren again on track, but you'll have a much fresher tyre. So the run down to turn 11, this will answer for us very shortly what Jared Fussell and the Boost Mobile team will do.
He's got Brody Kostecki as his spotter.
Box, 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 straight into the lane. So potentially saw that that was a slow pit stop for Dane Warren and thought, well, let's take advantage of that. That will negate some of the new tyre gain that Warren would get out on his outlap, which we're on board right now.
Last year we saw the Brad Jones racing drivers go really long in the race. We've got BJR cars now 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So you get the feeling that might be history repeating, that they do have some of the engineering team working on that tonight, including Tony Woodward. As the rejoin will be on in a moment here, you're right on board with Dane Warren. He was first to pit. Phil Sell in the lane. Service done, dropped away. It's going to be tight.
Tight, but I feel like he's going to have him.
Oh, this is going to be really close. And despite the slower pit stop, that is the difference in the undercut. Jonathan called it half a second is the advantage of coming in for that extra set of fresh tyres early on. And that was just smart work by the crew at Walkinshaw and Dread United.
And a nice lap from Dane Warren. You see there, it's popped up, fastest lap of the race. So taking advantage of that fresh tyre straight away. We talk about the undercut, that's classic undercut racing. So Phil Sell, though, looking pretty racy here. Don't forget, he's on a fresh tyre right now. So as that tyre comes in, he'll get that same benefit early in this run. And that's the time to strike while the tyre's fresh. A good run off here at turn 9. Too bad. Maybe too far back for a pass here into 10.
I wonder what the Brad Jones racing cars are going to do. They sit 1st, 2nd and 3rd now with Cooper Webster, Team 18, making his pit stop now. Where does Webster come out of all this battle as well? He did pit 2 laps later. As we watch these two, we'll see him in pit lane actually in just a moment's time. Here we go. Watch for the blue Irwin Tools car on the left-hand side coming out of the pit lane just as these two whiz by. And they've got him comfortably covered down here at turn 1. The pressure is on, but this is what Dane Warren does so well. Absorbs that pressure. The only change inside the top 3 has been the change for the lead. Mobile One Optus Racing, Walkinshaw and Dread United back to what would be the lead of the race after everything washes through the pit stop cycle. But this is a nice moment for BJR. They sit 1st, 2nd and 3rd on the road.
1, 2, 3. Now, it would be very Brad Jones Racing to do an alternate strategy to the rest of the field, wouldn't it? They do that very much in the Repco Supercars Championship. So they've obviously decided that this is what the best way forward for the team is. Burton currently leading. His last lap was a 19.1. Dane Warren's fastest lap was an 18.3. So that tells you the difference in the fresh tyre versus the used tyre now. So just done half distance as we start lap 8 of 17. So just coming up to half distance, exactly halfway through this lap. So Brad Jones Racing clearly decided they're going to the other way. They're going long. They're going to have a short final stint, come home with a strong car, but that means they'll have to pass plenty on racetrack. Talking about passing, Phil Sell hasn't given up here. He wants that lead back.
How aggressive is he going to be this year? Good time to remind everybody, there's $10,000 on the line.
It's just like any championship, Chad. This is round 1, so you don't need to be super aggressive here. I mean, second, that's plenty of points. But if an opportunity presents itself, you have to take it, because Dane Warren was so strong last year in the championship that often you don't get a second chance. So if there's an opportunity to put points in the bank, Phil Sell will take it. But you certainly don't want to throw away second place points this early in the championship.
All right, well, let's check out our first instant cash moment of season 2022. And how about this for a fair old scrap? There's a bit going on in the background. We did get Griffin Gardner out on track for the Penrite colours. Grove Racing sliding their way off. First time we've had Grove Racing in the E-Series. And
so I feel like that he was probably helped a little bit there, Chad.
yes, Job Stewart in the SwiftX colours has picked himself up a drive-through for that one. So a young guy doing great things in the Toyota 86 series, Job Stewart. He's been on the podium about 5 or 6 times so far this year. Here he is in the SwiftX colours. And he is an Erebus junior driver. He did drive with Erebus last year. Erebus was just the one pro car for Jared Philsell this year. He finds a home at SwiftX.
Make his way into pit lane, taking that penalty. Battle for the corrected race lead. This is not the actual race lead. It still carries on. So they're actually 6th and 7th at the moment, Warren and Philsell. Cooper Webster's hanging in there nicely, so he's not going away. These two get into a bit of a battle. Cooper Webster will range right up to the back of both Dane Warren and Jared Philsell.
Now, if you're Jared Philsell, you know you've got 2 Enduros coming up this year where you've got possibly the best of the all-star drivers as your co-driver. And if those Enduros are weighted for more points as well, maybe it could be a good tactic to just sit in second, collect those points and focus on the Enduros.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, this is like you're not playing for a bit of plastic here. It's $10,000, as you said, Chad. So you need to be smart about it. You need to have a strategy, just like you do in any other championship. We know Dane Warren's very strong individually. We know he's very, very fast. Jaden Ojeda, who will be his teammate in those endurance races, a very strong iRacing competitor, but probably doesn't have the runs on the board that Brody Kostecki does. So for Philsell, good points here in second, knowing that the next round of the championship, Sandown, you'll be sharing with Brody Kostecki, and that's a real red-hot chance to get maximum points. So need to be smart and need to be banking points when they come your way.
Jonathan, we've got some BJR cars, at least one, in the pits.
You finally as well. Don't they always go long on strategy? We love it when Brad Jones Racing replicate what they do in the real world. We think that the 3 cars should come out around 5th to 10th position, somewhere around that range. So look out for that. Jake Burton, certainly the lead car, in contention for a podium with fresher rubber towards the end of the race. How about this lead battle? How cool is this? If Philsell can take 1 sprint win, remember the endurance race have 300 races each. So if he can take 2 wins there and a sprint win, he could take the title away from Dane Warren. It's not going to be easy for Dane this year.
Now, that's what we're hinting towards. Just take second in the sprint races and focus on the Enduros. And that might just be enough to get him home.
Just looking at the lap times, Jake Burton, who's made his way into pit lane right now, his previous lap was a 19.3. These guys here, Dane Warren and Jared Philsell, was a 19.0 and a 19.1. So even though they've taken the fresher tyre, Jake Burton actually made his tyre last quite nicely. Good consistency. So it'll be interesting to see what he's got. When he pops back out of pit lane on that fresh tyre with 6 laps to go, he'll be amongst it late in the race.
Philsell trying the old flashing the headlights trick.
I don't think that doesn't happen doesn't work in real life. I really don't see how it's going to work or help in iRacing.
I feel like he knows you're there already. That's good. Dane just had a little wry smile when he saw him do it as well, which is pretty cool. At least he's having radio dramas, and that's his way of signalling back to the pits. Yes, I can hear you.
I've taken my pit stop. We don't need no more radio chat.
I know what I'm doing from here.
Going all Kimmy on the world.
So Burton's popped back out behind Kelry Shepherd for now. And he'll be 5th once Jake Maloney, who's another one of our new guys, takes his pit stop. Jake's running in the BP Ultimate colours. Welcome to the series, Jake. Here he comes right now. Now the leader, leading his first ever lap in the Supercars E-Series. I've always wanted to know what would happen if we turned the safety car into a supercar. And now we've got the answer. And here he is.
It would lead the race, Chad.
We're used to seeing it lead plenty of laps. IRL in the real world.
So Jake Maloney going super long here. He's the last car to pit. He continues on, so starts his way on lap 12 of 17. So Maloney running the Brad Jones Racing strategy on steroids here.
Yep, from Bald Hills in Queensland. And he's got Richard Hampstead spotting for him. Richard has been in our championship as a driver before. So looking forward to seeing how he's going to get on throughout the course of the year. Maloney spotted for him last year, so he's paying back the favour. Nice work. So the field nearly cleansed with waiting on Jake Maloney, the last to pit. Dane Warren will resume in the lead with Jared Filsell right behind him. It's Jake Burton. And the fight is on here with the Pizza Hut colours of Corey Shepherd. The Cup Cadet car working the back of him. Jake Burton, then it's back to Shepherd, and then here comes Madison down in the Cup Cadet colours. So he's in a BJR sandwich at the moment. I suppose it's probably more of a BJR calzone if it's the Pizza Hut car. So not bad, not bad. Burton working ahead of these two at the moment. Has a little look in the mirror, can see. Be a spicy move this one. Oh, here we go. Oh, he's having a decent look. Shows you how hard it is to pass. Myers again coming up through the draft again this year. He's been a regular, former Dick Johnson Racing driver in the series. I actually raced against Jake in the Toyota 86 series when I did a guest ride in that championship. Jake was racing in the 86 series. I had a feeling he passed you on the outside of turn 1. He was very, very fast, so we had a lot of fun racing against each other. It was very cool. That's true. He won the Aussie Driver Search contest a few years ago and had a little foray into the real world. You'd have to say almost half the drivers in the field have had real racing experience, some at a national level. Some, in the case of Jordan Caruso, even have a lap record here. And sports sedan, which is pretty cool. He's going to be racing at the Bend in just, well, about less than 2 weeks' time as the move is on here. The Cup Cadet car, Shane Van Gisbergen style, loves that move off the curb at 6 and dives to the inside at 7. Gets it done. That was a perfect move. Nice job. Nicely executed. As you said, Chad, bounced it off the curb at 6 and then fired up the inside at 7. So Madison down, continues to make his way forward after that late pit stop. He's our leader though, Dane Warren. Still Phil Sell right in the wheel tracks of the Optus Commodore. Certainly looks at this point, Chad, that Dane Warren's not going to have it all his own way this year. Yeah, absolutely. Had to work for this one to get to the front of the field. At one point, could have been third on that opening lap. Had to fight to stay inside the top two. He's grabbed plenty of curb at turn 2. Gee, the car just sliced up the road there for a moment. Got away with it. Plenty of rear brake temp in these cars. I've noticed that tonight. That's how they make the car turn. So put the handbrake on. Don't forget, it's an open setup now, so these drivers free to use their own setups within the iRacing platform. In the past, it's been a control setup, so all of them will have their own little tricks that they can throw at the setup. But yeah, just looking at the brake temperatures, all the glow is at the rear axle, not the front axle as you'd expect. So let's check out how the field looks now that we've had our pit stops. From the top of turn 9, I don't mind that new camera angle, looking across at the tree. There goes the top 3. Jake Burton in the first of the Brad Jones cars is mixed in with this pack. Wayne Burke rounds out 9th, Jordan Caruso 10th in the Monster colours. Got a good little fight going on a bit further back in the pack here with Emily Jones catching this pack ahead of her with Andrew Gilliam. Hey, nice recovery to 12th. That guy was last on the first lap and in the fence. Well, I was about to say, Caruso's had a nice recovery as well, so he's 10th at the moment, made his way back to 10. And how did the Cup Cadet car and the Dunlop colours go down here at turn 11? Got the job done nicely on Corey Shepherd. So Jake Burton using those fresher tyres to his advantage. Nice job. He's moving through this field with just 3 laps to go, Jonathan.
Yeah, how about that for a pass? And now he's reeling in Cooper Webster for 3rd position. Webster has never scored a podium in the Supercars E-Series, so can Jake Burton dash his dreams here today at Winton?
Thank you very much. He is a real-world winner in the S5000s. Cooper Webster, very talented young driver. Team 18 have been working with him for a while. He's not giving up the fight to try and catch the front 2. Last time by, he was right on the lap time for Jared Filsell, both in the 1:19.5s. But looking at the lap times of Jake Burton, he was half a second a lap faster than Dane Warren, Jared Filsell and Cooper Webster. So that late strategy, still not a lot of laps left to run in this one, but Burton's coming back at our leaders fast. The long game working for Brad Jones Racing at the home track. Tony Woodward, who works with Andre Heimgartner, is calling the shots on this car tonight. That's a pretty cool experience to be able to work with a Supercars engineer.
Just those calming words in your ear, just reminding you that the strategy's going to work, just encouraging you. So let's look at the lap times as they came over the line. So it was an 18.9 that lap from Burton. So he's taken 0.6 of a second out of Webster on that lap. So Burton coming back strong. Just see the Irwin Racing Commodore, Cooper Webster just up the road. This is going to be a grandstand finish for the podium.
Can he use that speed advantage and the fresh tyre to catch and pass? Third on the road, Brad Jones Racing versus Team 18. It's Walkinshaw, Erebus, Team 18, Brad Jones Racing. And then back to Repco Racing of Corey Shepherd. And you feel like the Supercars teams have certainly latched on to the best drivers in the iRacing world this year. He's approaching 0.2 of a second.
I like it. I like the way that Burton managed the tyre in that first stint. So he had good pace at the end of that first stint, and that was critical. We've seen Shane Van Gisbergen do that. When he goes along, he manages the tyre and looks after the tyre in the first part of the race so that he's strong late in the first stint, so that when he puts the tyre on late in the race and has a short final stint, he comes home strong. So Burton's certainly gone to school on that, and it's worked for him nicely. We're on the final lap here. Will Burton have time to get to the rear bumper of Cooper Webster?
Last time around Winton. First time we've had Winton in the championship. Cash Converter Supercars E-Series. Dane Warren has now led over 50 laps as an E-Series driver. We've only had just a tick over 100 in the entire series, so he's led more than 50% of the laps that we've had, which is very impressive. We heard that if you're wondering why Suzlin Harlow ended up down in 19th position, he was fighting with his Brad Jones teammates early in the race. Got done for speeding on pit road. It's an easy one to do.
That'll do it.
Yep. Little infraction with a very big penalty, that one. Last sector. Burton has been chasing down Cooper Webster, but he's going to run out of road. This guy picked up the SwiftX Pole Award, and he was so strong last year. 5 out of the 6 race wins in the championship, and he just slides his way out of the last corner. Walkinshaw back on top. They are the team to beat again in 22. And it's Dane Warren putting on a show at Winton.
That was pretty cool. I like the way that Dane Warren brought it over the line there. That's not bad.
Would you be game enough to try that one in the real world?
No chance.
You kind of did that at Phillip Island, but it's because you're out of fuel.
Without fuel. I was trying to pick up some fuel in the fuel tank.
Yeah, he is fairly handy at iRacing, that guy, and he's done the job again today with a 1:18.3, which, looking at that, would be also the fastest lap of the race. And he did that really in that pit sequence, comes out of the pit lane, gets the job done on Jared Filsell through the pit stops, and wins the first race of the season, does it by 0.3 of a second. Enjoyed watching the fight back for Jake Burton. Came back like last night's pizza on the way back through the field and finished inside the top 5. Corey Shepherd gets one of his best results in the E-Series. Madison Down, as always, inside the top 10. Oh, so consistent. Wayne Burke, good to see him inside the top 10 as well. Nice to see the Snowy River Caravans entry having a good show here, running in the James Courtney colours. Some new drivers joining the series here. We've got Luke Rosilla there. Emily Jones, nice job, up from 19th to 13th. And the guys who are off at the start of the race did a really good job getting back through the field. Okay, Bosch race highlights. Let's relive the action, Garth, and that fight to turn 1 was all important.
It certainly was, and Phil Sell went around the outside of 2. A little bit of contact here from Dane Warren, and that's actually what set him up to lose a bit of momentum for the run down to turn 3. Cooper Webster saw a little hole there, tried to drive into it. Maybe a little bit of contact between Webster and Gillum, and then, oh, that was Gillum and Caruso, so they were off at turn 4. They were all in that battle for Cooper Webster, Dane Warren for the lead. Unfortunately, Caruso and Gillum came off second best there. It was Wayne Burke and was that one of the BP cars?
Yeah, that was Jake Maloney.
Didn't see that one live, so a bit going on there. And then this was the moment where Dane Warren, he undercut Jared Filsell. He pitted a lap earlier, put in a nice outlap, and then this contact here between Job Stewart.
Yeah, sending Griffin Gardner off, the rookie.
This was a nice move.
Yeah, that was
inside Madison down.
Yep,
Nice job.
Inside of the Pizza Hut car. Just cut off a slice of Brady Myers down there at turn 7. Got the job done under the tree. Nicely worked. Very similar looking manoeuvre this one, but different cars. It's the Dunlop car of Jake Burton to the Repco 100 car of Corey Shepherd, and that was for 4th position. As high as he would climb, he tried desperately to chase the lead pack down. He got close to the back of Cooper Webster, who picked up his first podium, but it was Dane Warren who picks up the first win of the year in the Optus colours. And Chaz Mostert would be pretty happy with a race finish like that one. Sideways across the finish line. 150 points to that guy. Well done to Dane Warren. And he's going to be our first Shaw live chat of the night. So well done to Dane. Let's check in with him and see how he's feeling right now. And I think he's going to be one very happy guy. We never get too much emotion out of you, Dane. But how are we feeling one race win down so far this year?
I got to say that one's actually pretty cool. I thought I had it lost at the start, but luckily the Mobile One Optus Racing 25 was just really, really good. I think once we waited for Jared's tyres to fall off just the cliff, I think the 6th lap in, our car came really good at the end and we started pulling a gap.
I know.
So yeah.
Sorry, Dane. I was going to say a lot of the time last year we were talking about how close Jared Filsell could get to you. He put the pressure on, particularly on that opening lap.
Yeah, I got a shocking start, I think. I lost a lot of time. He tried to carry the outside. I think I gave him a little bit of a rude bump. But yeah, at that point I was surprised I was able to get the win because I think at turn 3 I copped a big bump from behind and I thought it was over. So yeah, just really happy with how the night went, and hopefully that's sort of how the season goes for the next 5 weeks.
Dane, there's a couple of Enduros in this year's championship where you'll share the car with your teammate Jaden Ojeda. How are you feeling about that?
I haven't seen where Jaden qualified. I think it was in the top 10 though, which is very promising considering I checked his iRacing account last night and it said he was a rookie. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to working with him. Obviously, he's quite nuts in a real car, so yeah, I think it's quite promising. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Anything can happen in this series.
Well done, mate. And we'll be sure to put the pressure on Ryan Walkinshaw all year for you to make sure that you get a real-life drive at some point.
Let's hope so. That'd be insane.
Absolutely. All right, well done, mate. Championship leader once again. We're used to saying that, the defending series leader from last year doing the job. We'll see how Jaden Ojeda goes in his first time with the All-Stars. It's coming up on the other side of this as we keep the action going. The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Repco, driven by passion for 100 years.
A lot of history hidden in this place. Bit of elbow grease, splash of racing. Eleanor, and 100 years later you've got this. A place driven by passion. Some people call us car nuts, rev heads. Reckon we've got 10W30 running through our veins. But the truth is, everyone at Repco has an unexplainable bond with motoring. The journey's been a ride, from navigating open roads to wrangling uncharted tracks. For 100 years, we've been driven by passion. What happens in the future? Well, you'll have to wait and see.
Unreal value just got better at Pizza Hut. Pick up our new range from just $3. Enjoy delicious new sides like flame-grilled meatballs. Hey, Dougie, mate, this is a pickup ad.
From $3. That's unreal.
Andre Heimgartner on screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Repco, driven by passion for 100 years.
You're enjoying the coverage tonight. The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series and the All Aussie circuits are the flavour for 2022. The man who was the all-star of them all last year, Brodie Kostecki. We had him for a few rounds during the COVID times in 2020. We had him back for 2021, and he was our series champion. Garth, convincingly the series champion last year. I wonder if anyone's got an answer for him this year.
Well, based on what we saw in qualifying, no would be the answer. He managed to put a 2.5 gap over second place. So certainly has come out strong in qualifying here at Winton. And the target is certainly on the back of Brodie Kostecki.
All right, well, we've got him right now for a Shaw live chat tonight, and we're going to see how the Erebus star is feeling on the back of a pole position. Brodie, congratulations on the SwiftX Pole Award. Who's the competition, you reckon, coming into 2022?
Yeah, it'll be a pretty interesting one, and Andre's been pretty quick, and Borgie as well. So, and there's a few new young names in there as well that are always pretty keen. So we'll see how we go into the first corner and then sort of take it from there.
How much time have you been spending in the sim, just in general, because it's something that you are particularly good at?
Not too much lately. I've actually got Nathan Kaiser sitting behind me. He's been sort of helping me move. So I'm in the middle of moving at the moment. So we've been moving boxes right before quali and actually almost missed quali. So yeah, gladly we made it, and yeah, we're in here, but yeah, not too much sim time for me lately. We've been sort of pretty busy trying to sort out the real car as well. We had a test day just recently, so yeah, we've been pretty busy.
Townsville was a tough one, wasn't it, for Erebus? Just to talk the real world for a moment. How helpful was that test day? And do you guys feel like maybe you're getting back to the ways of early this year when you and Will were both quite quick?
Yeah, it's quite amazing how quickly the tides can turn. But yeah, we had a great test day at Tailem Bend, so we're really looking forward to going back there again and bounce back into form. We definitely deserve to be sort of in that top 5, top 3 group. When we have it right on the day. So yeah, we've sort of been in a bit of a slump lately the last 2 rounds, but everyone's been working really hard to get it back on track. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'm pretty excited to go to the Bend.
Will Brown's your teammate in the real world, but you've got Jared Filsell as your E-Series cohort. You've also been doing some spotting with him for tonight. Will you be pretty happy with his second place in that last race, or was that a win gone begging?
Yeah, we actually copped a bit of damage on that sort of first corner there. It was a bit strange, but yeah, Jared does an awesome job on here. I don't think we'll see Will near a sim anytime soon. I don't think he'll be back, but yeah, Jared did an awesome job. He's a pretty good operator on the the virtual side of things. So yeah, it was great to start the year off P2 for him, and yeah, we'll see how we go from here.
All right, mate. Best of luck for the big race coming up later tonight. We'll let Brody Kostecki get his mind back in the game for a moment. We'll check in with another one of our drivers right now because he has his own sim business. So you reckon if anyone's going to be good, Garth, in a simulator, it's going to be Tom Randall. We'll check in with Tom to see how he's feeling tonight, representing the Tickford cars. G'day, Tom. Where are we out of for tonight's big race, mate?
Not in a good spot, actually. Yeah, I could fill you with plenty of driver excuses, but yeah, just didn't do a good enough job. So I actually haven't been doing that many laps because, yeah, I guess with the sim business, it's probably better having other people on the sim than myself. But look, it's great to be back doing the E-Series. A lot of fun. There's 6 weeks coming up. It's going to be good. And the fact that it's sort of in between our actual races, I think is really cool as well.
Tom, you've got the full motion simulator set up there at Dream Simulation. Do you run the competition nights with the motion on or off?
I normally run it off just purely because I've got like a bit of food or water and yeah, the stuff that's on the platform here that normally wouldn't be if I'm using the motion. So tonight, motion's off. And then, yeah, whether or not I've got a guy here, Adrian, that may or may not be spotting me tonight, we'll see how we go. Might just do it solo, but yeah, we'll see how we go in about 10 minutes.
Tom, it's always a lot about preparation ahead of a supercars race, making sure the body's ready to go and the mind's ready to go. Is it the same when you're doing E-Series racing? Because we got a little bit of footage earlier of you prepping for tonight's race. I just want to know if you're fully fueled up and ready to go.
Yeah, well... Oh, no. Is
this the sort of thing? Is this the sort of thing?
Next time...
Is this the sort of thing we'll see you doing on the grid in the Castrol Mustang when we go racing next at the Bend next week?
I don't want to see it. That is bad. That is so bad. But thanks to my dad for heading downtown, down Greens Road, getting some dinner. You got to be fueled, Garth, but I don't think I'll be eating in the cockpit in the real car anytime soon.
You look like Harry Potter went to the night noodle markets.
Tom Noodles Randall from now on.
Oh dear, I'm going to be getting so many nicknames out of this. Are these glasses?
Are these blue light ones?
They're blue light glasses. Right. Yeah, that's what Zach Best is running. I think Jake's running them as well tonight. So yeah, they just
Garth's running his as well.
Yeah.
So
it makes you a bit, isn't it? I'm a bit smarter now with glasses, yeah? So it should give me, 2 or 3
you just wear frames with blank glass in them. You don't need to have prescription. Instantly smarter.
All right.
I was wearing them when I was eating the food and they were just fogging up.
We've got Jake. He has got his glasses on. How are your teammates going to go tonight, mate? And Zach Best. He's not officially in Tickford colours tonight, but how are they all going to go tonight?
I think Jake did pretty well, actually, in qualifying. He was in the, I think he was in the 10 with a 19. So, yeah, I think he'll go well. I mean, the thing about this is that, yeah, just trying to get through that first lap. So we'll see if there's going to be carnage or not. I mean, it'd be good for me if there's carnage ahead because, yeah, I didn't qualify very well. So, but yeah, we've also got the safety car in the middle of the race. So everyone's got to get that pit stop in before that. And that'll bunch the field up, which will probably be a good thing for me.
All right. Nice work, Tommy. We'll let you get your mind back in the game and maybe get some dessert as well in time.
Get that in during the safety car.
What are you eating? Chad, what are you having for dessert or for dinner?
A bit of Pizza Hut for us tonight. I would have thought we'd go down a treat. Thank you very much, Tom. If you could put in a delivery order for us, that'd be great. All right, best of luck for the race, mate. We'll let him get his sim set up for the big one. We're going to be visiting Winton virtually. Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. Stick with us. We're going racing to the side of this break.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Shure. Sound extraordinary on and off the track.
lot of history hidden in this place. Bit of elbow grease, splash of racing.
Eleanor?
And 100 years later, you've got this. A place driven by passion. Some people call us car nuts, rev heads. Reckon we've got 10W30 running through our veins. But the truth is, everyone at Repco has an unexplainable bond with motoring. The journey's been a ride. From navigating open roads to wrangling uncharted tracks. For 100 years, we've been driven by passion. What happens in the future? Well, you'll have to wait and see.
On screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Ah, looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Pioneer DJ. Join the revolution.
It's a freezing winter's night here in Melbourne where Garth and I are based, so it's so fitting that we should be racing at Winton at this time of year. It feels just like real life, Garth, as we get set for the All-Stars. Looking forward to this one. We've seen the pros, we've seen how you meant to do it. Now let's see how you're definitely not meant to do it.
It's actually been interesting to see the difference in lap times in qualifying between the pros and the All-Stars. Near on 2 seconds, but pole for Dane Warren versus what Brodie Kostecki was able to do for pole in the All-Stars race. So open setups, so you'd expect that the pros would know how to get the most out of the car in the iRacing platform. When we go in the real world, clearly it switches the other way around. So it's been quite interesting to see how that's played out.
Yep. I hope that's water for Andre Heimgartner as he gets his eye on the game and we check out our truck assist grid, and they're going to be queuing up alongside these guys, Brodie Kostecki and Justin Marugia in the Cash Converters colours. So cool to see one of the sponsor cars running at the front. The 99 versus the 88, I like that. And then we're back into the BJR cars at their home track. Andre Heimgartner and Aaron Borg, who's an 86 series winner and also a V8 Ute champion. Brad Vaughan out of the Super 3 ranks drives for Cool Drive. Jake Kostecki's got his tradie colours on, and as Tom Randall said, qualified rather well. DJ colours tonight for James Golding, Pioneer DJ, which is really cool to see. Jaden Ojeda inside the top 10. Jack LeBrock for truck assist. He's got his actual engineer working with him tonight, Macaulay Jones, and Matt McLean in the short colours alongside Zach Best, who's gone to the BP Ultimate colours. We've seen him on the grid in both Super 2 and the main game so far this year. Jackson Walls, recently a race winner in Carrera Cup. He's going to be lining up alongside Tom Randall, a Super 2 champion. Cameron Crick, who's got a Pizza Hut sponsorship in the real world, has got the Pizza Hut Commodore tonight. He races in the Dunlop Series alongside Tom Maxwell, who's interestingly with the Groves, I've noticed here this weekend. Clay Richards and Jordan Cox off the back of the field. Clay Richards, a winner in the 86s at Townsville. Really cool to see that. And there's the man who's going to be starting on the front row, Justin Rugia. Aaron Borg, Super 2 driver maybe one day. I think he'd do a pretty good job getting a big call-up, which I know he's been wanting for a very long time. So we get set now for the All-Stars. And let's throw down with Justin Ruggier on the front row alongside Brody Kostecki. It's a slow start for Borg. Great start for Jake Kostecki in the tradie colours. Can he get ahead down here at turn 1? It's the perfect start for Kostecki, but he went in real deep and he's vulnerable.
Ruggier's got him. Nice. So Kostecki got a great start, but way too deep at turn 1, and that left him vulnerable for the exit of 2. Ruggier didn't need a second invitation. He was straight into it. Heimgartner falls into 3rd. Jake Kostecki, you called it, Chad, got a great launch. He's up 2 spots into 4th. Aaron Borg's dropped back to 5th. Jaden Ojeda, 6th. So Kostecki with it all to do after a great launch.
Whoops. That's going the long way off down at turn 5. We're joking about the Scott McLaughlin shortcut, but that was maybe not a bad option down there. Right. I remember the very first All-Star race is the race for the leaders on. A little bit of a tap, and he's going to take it. He's pulled out of it. Now, redressing. It's been the controversial topic of late, redressing. And
well, he redressed it, but then tried to send it straight back up the inside.
And he's having a bit of a laugh about it, too.
A smile on his face.
That was redressed to switchback move. And I get the feeling Justin Ruggier may have been our DSA in a time gone past as well, so that would have been a funny move to pull on a former driving standards advisor. He goes back into second. The Erebus cars, well, they've been used to seeing second place tonight. That's where Jared Philsell finished earlier today, and now he's engineering Brody Kostecki as he works the back of Justin Ruggier at the start of lap 2. That was a relatively clean opening lap. I think it was Macaulay Jones off at turn 5. So Jordan Cox and Clay Richards both up a couple of spots as a result. Other big movers. How about T-Max? Tom Maxwell up 4 spots. And interesting to see him in the Penrite colours tonight off the back of showing up and doing some laps for them at the ride day recently at Queensland Raceway. So cool to see Tom Maxwell making some friends in the supercars world.
Yeah, another opportunity to create new relationships in the supercars paddock here in the E-Series. Tom Maxwell using that opportunity, but now Brody Kostecki all over the back of Ruggier's Cas Converters Mustang. We saw Kostecki have a sniff up the inside at turn 10 on the previous lap, straight on the back of that readdress, but wasn't able to do it this time by. One thing that we did notice in the All-Stars, or the Pro race earlier, was Dane Warren undercut Jared Philsell for the race win. I wonder whether those conversations now are taking place with Philsell calling the shots for Brody Kostecki in this one.
So we really need about 4 laps for that tyre degradation number to be big enough for the undercut to work. But you also need to serve your pit stop before lap 8, because that is at that point onwards when the BP Ultimate Safety Car window will open from lap 9.
And there will be a safety car. It's just a random lap that it will come between lap 9 and lap 13. So you need to get that pit stop done prior to the safety car window opening. Can't stop under safety car. So the strategy will play out really between lap 4 and lap 8.
The strategy last year with this compulsory safety car rule was pit as late as possible for the safety car. Now, there's a couple of caveats there for that one. One is, it's mainly ovals that we raced on last year, so it was a pretty easy strategy. Not so much of an undercut. It was more about staying in the slipstream. Where this one, the undercut is really important, so maybe pitting a lap early just to get that track position for the restart. Is that what you're thinking, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same, because at that restart, you do not want to be a sitting duck with slow and poor tyres. We saw what happened in the Pro Series race, right? It was a little bit of a warm-up and a feel for what could happen later on in the All-Stars. Quick update on the opening lap. There was a lot of contact. I'm going to throw out my notepad after that one. I was writing stuff down and I just lost control of it. Brad Vaughan, Macaulay Jones, they had contact. That's under investigation. And there's a whole lot more going on. I'm not even going to bother.
Perfect. It'll take us all night to try and decipher some of that. Remember the original All-Stars E-Series as Ruggier gets the curb to see if he's going to be vulnerable here at turn 3. He's okay. The original All-Star E-Series, which you did the Texas race, I think, from memory back in that year. We called the celebrity race together, which was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, but the stacks that we had, and look how far it's come from that, the first year, to this. Well, we've barely had any crashes so far. Not bad.
Certainly gone up a notch, that's for sure. It's great to see how professionally it's been taken. And it's great to have different commercial partners, different drivers amongst the All-Stars field, mixing it with some of our supercar regulars. It's been well documented just how fast Brody Kostecki is in E-Series competition. Fastest lap of the race so far does go to Brodie Kostecki, our Bosch fastest lap. So he's keeping the pressure on the back of Justin Rougier.
So the fight for the lead will continue. Good chance to check out some instant cash moments thanks to Cash Converters. And coming in hot, Brad Vaughan pushing and shoving his way through on Jake Kostecki. I've heard that he's been slapped with a penalty. So nice and aggressive. And from a long way back down there. That's a nice move. Brad Vaughan, not afraid to have a crack, the 18-year-old, youngest guy in the All-Star field. Usually in Super 3, mixing it with the Super 2 drivers. That is how fast he is for Anderson Motorsport in the Super 3 world. And there goes Zach Best doing a nice job on his Super 2 competitor in Thomas Maxwell. It's interesting seeing all the drivers we know, but in very different colours. It feels very unusual. This is what Super 2 is going to look like next year, actually.
That's right, yep, that's right.
The Mustang out there. And
the Commodore and the Mustang GT in the Dunlop Series.
Early pit stops then for Zach Best. And that might be one strategy, but two, a few of them may have picked up a bit of damage as well. So a chance to get damage
that
next.
cleaned up straight away. So this will be a telling lap for me. Oh, Kostecki sends it at 10. Bags are packed.
Oh.
Contact there with Rougier.
Left the door slightly open.
Rougier returns serve as we head down to turn 11. Kostecki sends it deep on the brakes again. Makes the apex. Nice job. Rougier straight in. Nice move. Yeah, nice move.
Aggressive. So he'll take the fresh set of tyres a lap earlier. And Kostecki's great move at turn 10 could all be for naught if he gets the undercut back on him.
I think that's a smart play by Justin Rougier. As soon as he lost the lead, try and perform the undercut. Brad Vaughan follows him in. There's a few of them in the background there. I think Thomas Maxwell and Tom Noodles Randall into the lane. Taking his compulsory stop and drive through at the Noodle Bar.
Pulling out the front of where the Shell V-Power cars would be positioned in the real world. We'll check out Andre Heimgartner, R&J Batteries. Isn't he having a fantastic run at the moment in the Repco Supercars Championship? Been picking up plenty of silverware. What's it looking like at the moment, Jonathan?
Well, I love some noodles. I like that chatter a lot. It's very, very hungry at the moment for that pit lane. A lot of drivers coming in. Rougier, of course, leading the field away. It was a very slow stop. Slowest stop so far, 10.6 seconds out of anyone. And I think his hopes were to try and undercut and reclaim the lead from Brodie Kostecki. But you guys are spot on. At that restart, he's going to be a sitting duck.
All right, I wonder if maybe Rougier had a bit of damage as well.
Yeah, I think maybe as well. That contact.
Slowing that pit stop down.
Come straight to the lane. And get that damage fixed up as well. And as you said, Chad, just adds a little bit of time to the compulsory pit stop.
Hearing that, Jake Kostecki in the tradie entry has unfortunately had a mechanical, not with his car, but with his sim.
He's had an IRL problem in the E-world where his sim pedal stopped working.
I remember he had a pedal issue at might have been Sandown last year when the brake bias adjuster was getting stuck on that thing. So he's had now pedal issues in the real world and pedal issues in the E-Series world. That's a cool look for Cameron Crick.
Yeah.
He's got the whole meal deal going on tonight.
Yes.
Seen some of that our way. Looking very cool right now. Driving for Eggleston Motorsport in Super 2. Had a tough one up recently at the last round. That car picked up a bit of damage. That's not bad.
Nice.
I like that. He's going to actually run a few deliveries at the end of this race.
Yeah, you got it. Exactly. Get out, do some deliveries afterwards. Cameron Crick.
Calling him Dougie, I reckon. New nickname. Dougie the delivery man. He's back. Cameron Dougie Crick.
Really roll off the tongue. We're going to have to continue to workshop that one.
Pass it around a bit more. I think a few loaves of garlic bread can't solve. Was the Pizza Hut Winton Super Sprint this year? Find me a cooler looking car than the Pizza Hut car. Macca Jones is running those colours recently at Townsville.
He's got the sim racing boot on, which is otherwise known as just your socks. Get plenty of feel with that. I think a lot of sim drivers use just their socks.
I feel like the chinos is an interesting choice of...
Well, you're not going to get dirty in your sim, Chad.
True, I'd be rocking the trackies though on a cold Melbourne night tonight.
Cameron doing the right thing for his sponsors. He's dressed up nicely. Got some socks on that don't have holes in them.
Now, Brodie Kostecki, by my reckoning, is going to have to pit on this lap. Lap 8 is the end of the window. He's gone all the way to the end, so he might lose track position.
But he'll have fresh tyre.
on the restart.
And we saw with Jake Burton in the Pro Series race, just the advantage having a fresh tyre in the late part of the race. What a massive advantage that was. So Kostecki looking to run that strategy, as is James Golding and Jordan Cox, who started off the back in this one. So they're the three still to pit.
Now, the later the safety car, the better for Justin Ruggier. I'm going to go with on this one, because if he does take the fresh set of tyres now, which he has to, if the safety car came out straight away, he'd have that gap made up and then have the fresh tyre as well.
Yeah. No, you're right there, I think, Chad.
So I reckon if I'm Justin Ruggier, I'm hoping it's lap 13 for that BP Ultimate safety car.
You've got the big SC button under your finger there, so...
True. I was wondering what that button did.
Here's Brody Kostecki. He comes to the lane. Need to be careful, get it stopped down to the pit speed limit. We saw some penalties earlier tonight.
And the key to speeding on pit lane as we cruise on by the BP Ultimate safety car, which is that cool Ford GT,
if you don't mind.
Yeah, is you got to get done on the way in, because then you can serve it in your pit stop.
Oh.
It's better than doing it on the way out and having to come back in again.
It's very clever, Chad.
Yeah. Or just don't speed at all.
Well,
it's probably
a safer
that's
option.
Strategy A.
So there we go. Kostecki takes his CPS, drives straight through the Porsche on exit.
Sorry about that.
James Golding, he does as well. Oh, this is for the lead.
This is real tight, and that was the slow pit stop for the Cash Converters car.
So that's a double whammy for Justin Ruggier. He's on an older tyre, and he didn't get the track position.
Yeah, that is going to be a difficult task.
Fallen now in Brody Kostecki's hands. He's played that beautifully. We're hearing it was a pretty aggressive in-lap from Brody Kostecki when he was centred into the pits, spent a bit of time in the gravel, making his way to pit lane.
So got away with that one.
These two have extended the gap, though, over Andre Heimgartner, who comes out of the pit stop cycle, still in third place.
Yeah, everyone's pitted now. So that was the end of the pit window. How close was it? Cash Converters replay. Oh, yeah. Taking the high line through turn 11.
Not a lot of drive traction out there in the gravel. B. Kostecki.
So that's how close it was on the way in. How close was it on the way out? Any further off the road down there at turn 11, we would have had a change for the lead right here.
Yeah. So Ruggier got side by side just into the braking zone. Should have thought about the run up the inside into 2, but that gap always closes very quickly.
There's a bit of Max Verstappen blend line in that down there for Brody Kostecki. It was right on the absolute edge. Although Ruggier not going away yet. No. Despite the tyre advantage, he's right with him.
He continues to rattle away on the rear bumper of Brody Kostecki's Boost Erebus Commodore.
Andre Heimgartner, 0.8 of a second quicker last lap than Ruggier as well. So just watch out for the R&J Batteries car, as he is in third place and get a pretty big free kick soon when that BP Ultimate safety car comes out. Close that field right back up again. An exciting finish to this one. Putting the pressure on the Cash Converters car. Matt McLean. Now this is a sponsorship that does trickle into the real world. He's the rock star, Matt McLean. Looks like he could be the front man for the darkness with the long black hair. And since we're on board with the Shaw car, it's the perfect time for the Shaw sounds of the game. Was the move from Matt McLean. High octane move around the outside down there.
It was high pressure, Chad, that's for sure. A little bit of contact there in the mid-corner. Matt McLean.
Clay Richards, the hurry up.
Got a bit of a tank slapper up, leaving turn 9, and Matt McLean went around the outside.
Clay
High
runs
intensity stuff.
Yeah, the Shannon's colours in real life on his Toyota 86. Picked up a race win recently at Townsville. That was a really cool moment to see third generation's Richards driver picking up another win. Oh, Kostecki wide at turn 11. Gave that Apex a little bit of a wide berth, and Ruggia back onto the back of him. Safety car expected in the next 2 laps.
Certainly expected that Kostecki would have more speed than this after the pit stop with the tyre advantage that he holds over Justin Ruggier in that number 88 Cash Converters Mustang.
I wonder if he's maybe just trying to look after the tyres.
That's why I wonder whether he's just
knowing that the safety car is there. No point building a 3-second lead.
Because you know it's going to get closed up again. So I think that's a good point, Chad. But high risk.
True.
Ruggier is certainly not going to go away.
Jordan Cox and Zach Best having a bit of a scrap here. This is down at turn 3. It's coming soon, I reckon. The BP Ultimate Safety Car. Very cool to see Jordan Cox. Not used to driving rear-wheel drive cars.
No, I was wondering that, how he'd go with
If we put him in reverse, he'd be amazing.
He'd be super fast. He would, certainly.
Oops, he's got a bit of a flash going on down there at turn 7. He got to the inside. It's always tricky with the internet connection if it's...
I was going to say, he needs to look at his internet connection.
Yeah. It actually gives it that, when you're playing iRace, you can see it in the top right-hand corner how the upload and download and the ping is going. Leave that to Jonathan to explain that stuff. But we had a famous netcode incident with Max Verstappen at Barcelona at the All-Star race where he turned around and, I want to say maybe Anton Di Pasquale, one of the guys at the front of the field. And we are hearing that we have gone BP Ultimate Safety Car, and that is going to bunch this field up to send out the BP Ultimate Ford GTE. Oh, this was the action further back in the race, and that was a nice move by the Cool Drive car, Brad Vaughan. So we'll have Bradley out on track in this field, and there is the safety car.
When can we get that
I reckon
BP Ultimate Safety Car to the Repco Supercars Championship?
I saw some races at the Nürburgring the other day that had one of the super trucks as the safety car. That was quite unusual considering they were prototypes that were running around behind him. Jonathan, what are we seeing as the BP Ultimate Safety Car is on track?
Well, it's not often that the safety car could probably drive faster than the actual cars that it's trying to pack up. But in terms of tyre updates, you've got Brody Kostecki and DJ Jimmy Golding in the Pioneer DJ car. They're in best position on the restart. Behind them, Andre Heimgartner and Aaron Borg have good fresh tyres. But for everybody else in the top 10, they are sitting ducks compared to those 4 drivers. So it's going to be one wild restart.
I like the sound of that. Speaking my language. Thank you very much, Jonathan. So Kostecki with okay tyres, better than Ruggia.
And I just wonder whether those that have the call on when the safety car comes have just wondered to just have a nice tight bunch with about 3 or 4 laps to go. A bit of a final dash. Clay Richards on screen.
In the hyper stimulators. We had a night where his dad was racing in one of those at the Celebrity E-Series race. That was, these are actually built in Lilydale, Victoria, not too far away from where Clay lives.
Had one of those, Assumes.
Did you have the full HRT colours on it or anything like that?
No, I didn't. BP Ultimate Safety Cars in pit lane, Chad.
Oh, here we go. So then, Kostecki, Ruggia, Heimgartner with a good set of tyres. Borg with really good tyres, taking the restart out of 5th. And let's finish this one off in style. 4 to go here at Winton.
Brad Vaughan's come forward nicely. A bit of dramas early in the race, but currently finds himself up 1 spot from his qualifying position. 4th place, putting a bit of pressure on Andre Heimgartner. Jaden O'Jade has done a nice job as well. He's gone forward 2 spots. The Walkinshaw Andretti United number 2 ZB Commodore. Now Kostecki in the lead, starting to open that up. That's out to 0.8 of a second. So Chad, what you were mentioning just before the BP Ultimate Safety Car with Kostecki just looking after the tyre, knowing that he would have to basically have the field bunched up right behind him in in a couple of laps' time, there was no point using the tyre up. But right now, seems like a good time to use the tyre up. That gap now nearly out to 1 second on this safety car restart lap.
Smart racing.
Yep.
From Brody Kostecki. Got that extra channel open inside his brain to just make sure that these things are working well. Oh, no,
James Golding
talking about how he's got possibly the best tyres out there for the restart. Pioneer DJ car is off the road. And Jonathan, that is a shame for Jimmy Golding, who's now looking at his old team in his mirrors.
He's got a real supercars drive now to look forward to after this All-Stars race. Updates on the safety car. Matt McLean was definitely not very happy with Jordan Cox, who overtook him under safety car. The stewards are looking at it, and I think that's a slam dunk penalty for Jordan Cox. As a matter of fact, he's just received one now from the stewards.
Whoops, and I reckon Jaden Ojeda might be getting some attention his way.
Call as well. Yes, I think so.
For the one on James Golding. I think that was that Premier high seat should have been mine. Sent him off down the road at turn 11. He'd been one of many drivers putting his hand up for a drive there. Although maybe it could end up at team 18 for an enduro drive, potentially with Jaden Ojeda. Still a few seats for the great race yet to be announced. I wonder where all those pieces are going to fall. And that team 18 co-drive alongside Scott Pye would be an awesome drive for any young driver who's been doing Super 2. Here is the Juice.
You asked for some tracksuit pants, Chad.
There we go.
You go.
I got what I came for tonight.
It has 3 stripes.
It's a good look. I wonder if he's doing this at Sydney Motorsport Park tonight. I'll have to find out because I know that they've got a pretty good sim set up there. They've got a great sim at Walkinshaw and Andretti United. But that's probably packed up at the moment with the moving workshops.
Moving house, that team.
It's like Brody Kostecki's moving house at the moment. Probably a bit more to move for them.
Big damage on the front.
Yeah.
Jordan Cox's SwiftX Commodore.
It's looking great. I wonder if Matt McLean's paid him back for passing in the safety car, or if he's just run at the back of Zach Best.
Zach Best has got the low downforce Mustang going. It's got no boot, no rear wing.
I'm seeing a guy without a bonnet and a guy without a boot, and I'm feeling like maybe they're related.
2 and 2 are definitely adding up to 4 there, Chad.
Here is Jordan Cox. Internet sensation for the way he was wheeling his Honda Civic around Bathurst, pulling off some of the greatest moves, but also the race at Clipsal as well, when we had improved production racing there. Called that race with Warren Luff, and he passed a Toyota on the outside at the centre chicane. At turn 2, I don't even think it was ever been done before. It was impossible. It's like the movie pull around the outside at McPhillamy. He's got a really creative brain when it comes to racecraft, Jordan Cox, and really cool to have him in the All-Star E-Series, so welcome. It's in the SwiftX colours. Minus a bonnet.
Certainly won't have any problem with engine cooling in that car.
No. Clay Richards off the road for a moment and just zapping on by is the 31. Got his karting number on this car, just like he has at the Premier Hire Subway entry. And a guy that we're expecting to see up there in the championship, so down in 13th at the moment, going to be losing some points. Goodness me, Brody Kostecki he's out here, he's gone. He's checked out.
Certainly has checked out.
Whee, action here, Matt McLean, and maybe contact there with Tom Randall. He's off the road at turn 3. On the final lap, he was unhappy about getting past under safety car conditions, Neil Crompton style, in the Supercars E-Series celebrity race.
I certainly hope he doesn't have a tantrum like we saw from Neil Crompton when all that was going on.
He's going to be furious now as he's looking backwards at turn 3. Half a lap to go. They were second in the first race tonight. They're going to be first in the second race tonight.
Gap now out to over 3.5 seconds. So Kostecki shown a clean pair of heels to the rest of the field after the safety car restart. He's done it beautifully.
It's a night where the champions have flexed their muscles in Winton. Earlier tonight, Dane Warren on top in the pros, and it's Brody Kostecki in the Boost Mobile colours once again on top of the All-Stars. Kostecki wins at Winton. Great job, Justin Ruggier brings it home second. Real life or virtual, Andre Heimgartner's winning trophies. Seems to be doing a lot of that lately. And Brad Vaughan with a 5-second penalty finished 4th, so he'll drop down the order. And Tom Randall, either out of fuel or trying to potentially redress here behind Matt McLean or whoever he feels like he owes one to. It's the second time we've seen a supercar stop at the finish line in the last 2 weeks.
That's right. It's the fashionable thing to do at the moment.
Yeah, it used to be cool to just cross the finish line. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Stop short. But Justin Ruggier He was stopped short of just grabbing the win off Brodie Kostecki. He'll bank a second place. Andre Heimgartner, another third. Runs pretty stiff setup in that simulation.
He does. Check the
the vibration out in that one.
Got a bit of force feedback going on. And it's Brodie Kostecki for 3.5 seconds in about 4 laps. I mean, he just bolted then. And that was a lovely performance from the series favourite and the series champion from last year, Justin Ruggier. Second, Brad Vaughan, where's that 5-second penalty drop him, Garth? Probably down to about 7th or 8th?
7th or 8th.
Okay, thank you very much. And well done to the safety car, bringing it home in 19th position today.
Strong.
Good effort.
Yeah, not too bad.
16 laps
Good
off the pace. Probably not classified, I reckon.
Good to see him out there. Just 1 lap less than Jake Kostecki managed.
Very good work. Looking forward to seeing it back next week. And we check out our Bosch race highlights. The race for the lead was on from the very start. Brodie Kostecki got brilliant jump, but just overcooked it down here at turn 1.
Sent it too deep here at 1. That made him vulnerable to Justin Ruggier on the exit of turn 2. Ruggier didn't need a second invite. He was straight up the inside. There was plenty going on at the back of the field there. Cameron Crick, he got into the back of Macaulay Jones and he toured the paddock on the outside of the sweeper. Brad Vaughan, he was amongst it early. Just opened the door on Jake Kostecki there.
Got 5 seconds for that one.
Kostecki went on to have some mechanical issues with the pedal box in his sim, and then Vaughan sent it nicely down the inside here of James Golding. Golding had nothing he could do about that one.
So the pit stop sequence began. Brodie Kostecki was the race leader, nearly overcooked it down there at turn 11 and threw it all away. Came into the pits, and how close was the rejoin with Justin Ruggier? About that close. Just not quite enough. Ruggier had a slow pit stop, and it was enough for Kostecki to get back to the lead of the race. Further back, Matt McLean was giving Clay Richards the hurry up down at turn 9. Got the job done on the outside with a sweet move, despite the inside front locking of the left-hander. And McLean would bring that car home, unfortunately, at the back of the pack, as did James Golding off the nose of Jada No Jada in the NTI colours. This was what finished the job for Matt McLean.
So this is what we saw Thomas Randall redressing at the end of the race, sending Matt McLean at turn 3, but this guy, Brodie Kostecki, was way too strong after the safety car restart. Did it nicely, over 3 seconds. His finish across the line wasn't quite as stylish as Dane Warren's, but still get the same points nonetheless for the race win.
That was a monster win, actually, 3.5 seconds. So nicely done. I like that Tom Randall pulled up at the start line to redress that spot back to Matt McLean and still finished a spot ahead of him. So he lost all those spots for nothing.
Didn't quite get the readdress right.
Didn't quite
next time.
Get that one right. All right, Sure Live chat time with our race winner, and Brodie Kostecki has done a ripping job tonight. Hey, mate, congratulations. Talk us through the mid-race strategy where we're just trying to look after tyres before that safety car.
Yeah, we just sort of come out of the pits there, and I knew that it was going to be really tight coming out with Justin. So he must have had a pretty slow pit stop or whatnot, because I made a bit of a meal coming to the pit lane, and then was able to come out in front and sort of just rode around trying to just look after the tyres, ready for the restart. So we're able to do that and then pull away at the end there.
Next up, it's Sandown, the track where you got your very first Supercars podium, which is pretty cool. And you're also going to have a co-driver in Jared Filsell. I think you guys are going to be looking pretty strong next week. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty excited for Sandown. It's my favourite track in on the calendar, and it's been bloody awesome that it's been added to iRacing as well. So yeah, it'll be pretty exciting for that one, and I'm sure it'll be pretty funny as well.
That's the best part about the E-Series, mate. Congratulations on a perfect start to the night. You're 150 points up, and you're doing a beautiful job once again in 22.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see him next week, and we want to hear from the fans as to who you think our best performer of the night has been. Go and vote right now for our Repco top performer. Was it Brodie Kostecki's awesome effort, or will it be the pros who are voting on tonight? I mean, Dane Warren, sublime once again, beating Jared Filsell in the pros, and in the All-Stars, it was Brodie Kostecki. Well, Garth, it's nearly past your bedtime.
It's well past my bedtime, Chad. Thank you. Great start to the championship. Great to see Winton as part of the iRacing platform. Can't wait for Sandown next week.
Yeah, the Enduros are back next week. Is it going to be Walkinshaw and Drury United, or can Erebus fight back in the pro ranks? Looking forward to that one. Join us next Wednesday night. Let us know what you thought online. We can't wait to join you next week as we go racing at Sandown. Good night.
The Cash Converters Supercars